And some good news for mortgage holders. Inflation has fallen to its lowest yearly rate since 2021. The Reserve Bank now almost certain to deliver an August rate cut, even though they said that last time, with a second expected by November.
Here to talk us through it all is money expert Joel Gibson.
Hey, Jolie.
Joel, they can't run away from it this time.
Oh, well, look, that's what we all thought last time, as you said. Never say never, but it will be very, very hard for them not to cut rates after these numbers. They said they were looking for...
Well, these are the numbers they were looking for,
They were looking for 2.7% on the trimmed mean or underlying inflation. Sorry, 2.6, they got 2.7. So it's very, very close to what they said they're looking for. Obviously, you know, the headline rate is now right down to 2.1%. It's all about being in that band. It's the red line that they say they've been looking at. It's so close to 2.5 now. It would be very, very
Can I make a
hard
point? Even though, I mean, people say inflation is down. So it's at that level of 2.1%, right? That means things are still going up by 2.1%. They're not going down.
I think we've been so burnt that we're happy with a number that's around sort of 2.7% because it was at 7.8%, right? So it's all relative. Prices always go up. It's just a question of by how much, and they're now going up by much less than they were at the peak when it was around 7.8%. The big factors here, you know, I've been banging on about insurance premiums and rent for the last couple of years.
So you should be.
Rent increases are now at 4.5%. That's still quite a lot, right, for a renter, but it was at 7.8%. So the trend is good. It's coming back to earth. That's great news. And insurance got almost to 17% at one point last year, and it's now back down to 3.9% average on insurance increases. So that is a massive, massive relief.
When a second rate cut is factored in for, say, November, a lot of economists are saying, does that bode well for the trajectory of inflation? You know, Jim Chalmers was on the show before talking about how things are going up overseas. Are we likely to see that replicated here?
Well, yeah, there's a big X factor, of course, which is the tariff war. We don't know how that's going to play out. In the US, there's a Barney at the moment between Trump and Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, over rates there. He's refusing to cut rates because of the...
for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's true. But the impact that the tariffs might have on inflation there. So there's still a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, you know, at the moment, based on what they said after the last meeting, they were looking for these sorts of numbers. I think we can be pretty confident. And you mentioned money markets. Money markets are pricing a 100% chance of a cut next week, 2 weeks from now. And then by the end of the year, 75% chance of 3 cuts.
We do need to be a little worried about inflation going up around the world. And if that is the case, then why wouldn't it happen here eventually? Are we just lagging?
Well, it would. I mean, that's the inflationary crisis we've just been through.
The Reserve Bank may be a little reticent.
They are, and they've said that they're keeping a sharp eye on what's happening overseas. I think in the case of the global inflationary crisis we've just been through, those were global factors that were influencing every nation in the world, including us. Here, what's probably going to happen is we might see inflation in the US as a result of the tariffs there of 15, 20%. But will that necessarily flow through to Australia in the same way that the inflation did in the last few years? Possibly not. That's our hope. Things
like groceries obviously aren't going down. What's that
Grocery
like?
inflation is around 3%, but it's been pretty flat now at that level for a while. It did get to 10% at one point, so it's as like the other numbers, much better than
Any specifics on the groceries you can zero in on?
Look, it's still fruit and veg is the biggest grower there. It's like, I think, 4.6% fruit and veg, so it's mainly the fresh stuff, unfortunately, the healthy stuff, which is still going up relatively steeply. You know, that's not good news because people tend to then dump the healthy stuff and buy the cheaper stuff, which is the processed foods. So it's not a good story for our health. But in terms of overall the price of your grocery basket, it's not going up anywhere near as it was, as fast as it was. But as you said, right at the start of that whole segment, it's those increases from a year ago and 2 years ago, they haven't been reversed. Prices are just going up by less than they used to.
That's why I hit KFC on a Thursday night. Thank you, buddy. Nice to see you.
Thanks.